special feature of Midnight Double Feature. It's a San Diego Comic-Con special. Marvel Phase 4. We know all the details. Let's get right into it. Plus, Halloween, Terminator, Watchmen, Star Trek, Top Gun, Jay and Silent Bob. Dude, this is a nerd's fantasy. All this and more on this special feature episode of Midnight Double Feature. Zoheb, I don't know if you know this, but San Diego Comic-Con is one of my favorite times of the year. I've never been to one, but I fucking love watching all this shit, dude. Aren't you excited?
I'm excited, dude, but I think I'd also need to be on the spectrum if I thought that this was not one of your favorite times of the year.
Yeah, I think it's kind of obvious. If you know Matt Vella, you probably know he's pretty stoked about comics and comic book films and all that. And I'm sure a lot of our Midnight Double Feature fans and listeners will relate. Look, as we mentioned, there's a lot of stuff we want to cover. I just thought before getting into, I just want to quickly mention some of the stuff we won't cover because there was so much. And if you're interested and anything sticks out to you as a listener, here's some things you can check out. And Zoe, if any of these pop out to you, just and you want to mention them, just let me know. Mark Hamill received the Comic-Con Icon Award. Game of Thrones, their showrunners didn't show up, and they were followed by the Preacher panel, which Seth Rogen gave him shit for. Rick and Morty, we got some new footage from Rick and Morty, but nothing too crazy. Same with Family Guy. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's their final season. Dark Crystal, they got a sequel. Supernatural finale, a lot of finales this year. It was a little emotional.
Yeah, the guys got teared up. Like they teared up on the panel.
Dude, Supernatural, honestly, I stopped watching, I think, around season 4 or 5, but they have one of the most dedicated hardcore fan bases out there. Like 100%.
I used to be all in on it, dude. Like I used to fucking read up about it, read up all the theories and shit. Like, I mean, this was back in 2005, 2006, dude. Like when it was starting to air. So I was like 12 or 13. Like, you know what I mean? I
think same. Like that show it still is iconic. I'm surprised I think everyone's surprised it's lasted so long. But like, good for them. Speaking of finales, though. Arrow's got its finale coming up, and they had a whole, like the DC CW always take over Comic-Con. We're not going to get into that today, but the biggest highlight was, and I don't know if you heard this, but Brandon Routh from Superman Returns is returning as Superman, making Christopher Reeves movies in canon. While DC didn't have a strong presence like in their films and stuff, a lot of rumors came out afterwards. There are now rumors that in this Crisis Infinite Earth crossover, they're doing that Burt Ward from like the 60s Batman is going to come back as an old Robin.
Wait. Hold on.
That's rumored though.
Did you say it's making Christopher Reeves' films in canon?
Yeah, because I don't know if you know this, but or a lot of people don't realize this, but Superman Returns is meant to be a sequel to those movies. Brandon Routh is meant to be Christopher Reeves' Superman.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that film was so fucking forgettable. I forgot that much. Yeah,
it's
true.
Called
Superman Returns. I should have known that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's technically a sequel, and if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong on this part, but I think it's meant to ignore Superman 3 and 4, sort of like what Terminator Dark Fate is doing and that Halloween did. That's a great segue. But just real quick, not talking about that. Also, Supergirl has pants now. There's a new Wonder Woman poster. Oh, Star Wars news. We didn't really have anything from Star Wars except there's a new Sith Trooper. It's red. There's a giant Lego version of it. That's all there is. And Walking Dead had a lot of announcements. Someone's leaving. There's a trailer, but just like the rest of the planet, we kind of don't care. This is hot off the tails of the comic book ending. But also, the big probably news was the Rick Grimes movie is getting a cinema release. So we can see Walking Dead on the big screen. Whoop-de-doo.
And be bored to death on the big screen.
Exactly. There's also new stuff. I'm not sure if this was connected to Comic-Con, but Westworld and Invader Zim. But on top of all
dude, that Westworld trailer was badass.
Right. We actually talked about the last one a few episodes back. If anyone's keen, but come on, Aaron Paul, like if you're not excited about that, that's a big get for this show, man. That's great. There's a whole bunch of other trailers that came out this week that aren't connected to San Diego Comic-Con, which means, guys, next week's episode is going to be pretty jam-packed as well. So keep an eye out for that. So let's get right into San Diego Comic-Con. But before that, if you're new, if you're with us, Zoheb, where can the good people out there find us?
You can find us anywhere, pretty much. We're
Pretty
on
much.
Facebook. We have our, I know, right? We have our main page on Facebook, which is Midnight Double Feature, and then we have our group that's connected to that, which is called The After Party. That's where we post memes, news, and teasers of what's to come here on Midnight Double Feature. That's where you can find what we're covering next as our feature presentation, which is Kingsman. You can drop us a comment there. We'll read it out on air. We love getting into everyone's thoughts and telling people why they're wrong. So that's the After Party. That's a great little community. Then we also have our Instagram, which is at Midnight Double Feature, and we have our Twitter, which is at MDF Pod. And you can listen to us pretty much anywhere, like, iTunes and fucking YouTube and shit. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, we're like I always say, we're a disease. So awesome. Venereal diseases. Yeah, great comparison. And also, guys, please remember to rate and review us on iTunes. That would go a long way. We'd love to see what you think. Whether you think we're worth 1 star or 5 stars, just please let us know, just so we can, improve the show.
Yeah, we always love that. Look, let's move into probably the biggest piece of news that wasn't trailer connected was that Edward Furlong from Terminator 2 fame is technically coming back for this film. I don't know if you saw the panels here, but the way it happened was James Cameron opened up with a live video, although some people suspect maybe it wasn't live. But yeah, he sort of talked about, he cleared up a lot of questions we've had. He explained his role. So he said his job sort of ends at pre-production. He helped come up with the story. He was like a bouncing board for the director. He helped get the crew together. He was the one who pitched it to Linda Hamilton to get her on board. And the big thing he said is that Edward Furlong's coming back. Does this change your thoughts or anything about this, Zoe?
No, not really. I mean, look, I'd be lying if I said I was expecting it, because I actually wasn't expecting it. Like, it's a pretty good, good continuity thing, but it's not really, like, if I wasn't going to go see this already, it's not going to get my ass in the seat. Like, it's just not. I'll tell you what is going to get my ass in the seat. They released, like, a behind-the-scenes sort of, like, sizzle reel. That shit looks badass, dude. Yeah.
Yes, right? There's an end shot, we'll talk about in the after party. Go check out the after party if you haven't already, where we all talk our shit. There's a shot at the end I'm so in love with, of Arnold shooting this Terminator in the face, and it just keeps coming. Like, oh man, that's what I love about Terminator.
See, I like that, but there's another shot like right before that. It's kind of like there's like a lot of fire in the background, but we see like multiple Terminators like firing the laser cannons that you see in like the future shots. Like, that's what intrigues me. Like, I'm just like, oh, okay, is this like a dream sequence or is this the opening sequence? I don't know.
Well, actually, I don't know the answer to that, but from what I've seen of the panel, I saw most of it. What got me also excited is they just talked about how it's only based off the first two, right? And when you think about that, a lot of stuff changes. So there's no Skynet, and they say there's only one timeline. There's no multiple timelines. So Skynet, there's no Cyberdyne. Cyberdyne was destroyed at Ender 2, right? So if there's a Skynet or something, or there's probably still a Skynet, but it's a different iteration of it. It's different to what we've seen in all the other movies, right? So...
Well, yeah, they kind of have to go in that direction because
yeah. So Judgment Day never happened. Like, in Terminator 3, they were just like, oh, it just got pushed back. But this is like, it never happened. It seems to me, I could be wrong on this, but like, they literally waited 30 years before the Terminators came again. So I don't know what this means about the story.
I'm not going to speculate. Dude. Yeah. Especially when time travel's involved. Like, there's just no fucking way.
Yeah, no. But like, what I like is like, it means like they get to redo everything. You know, I feel like all these other films were so interconnected to each other, and they kind of meant, oh, this happened here, so this has to happen with that. But I like this idea of like, I don't know, just go back to the roots and redo it. Which I guess is what they've been saying all along, but that really hit home for me. And the fact it's R-rated. I don't know if we knew that before, but yeah, they're going to say the word fuck a lot. And Tim Miller loves to say the word fuck. He actually lost a bet with Arnold on stage about he had to say fuck, I think, less than 5 times. We owed him $20, and he said it like 10 times before Arnold even came out. It's pretty funny. The last thing I will say, and I'll spring this on you because I don't know if you know this. Actually, it's not even confirmed. But yeah, there's speculation that, or supposedly a leak, but who knows, that James Cameron actually misspoke, and Edward Furlong, while he is technically returning, he's not returning as an adult. He's returning as his likeness is returning as in his face on a child's body, but the facial capture. But get this. This is some James Cameron type shit. Okay, get this right. So Edward Furlong is still playing Edward Furlong, but he's got some motion capture shit in his face. Yeah, well, John Connor, right? But he's got some motion capture shit in his face, and they take his facial performance, map it to a CGI face of him as a kid, and then that's being put onto another actor's face, which I guess means what is that, a flashback? I don't know. It's weird. He wasn't at the panel.
I've just lost all interest in this shit now.
But that sounds like some James Cameron technology shit, though, right? Oh man.
I mean,
anyways.
Now it's just like I really don't give a shit. I'll probably say this I don't know, man. Like, we talked about it earlier. Like, I'll probably say this, but I don't know. We spent too much time on this fucking shit already.
Yeah. Look, I'm hoping I'm wrong with that. But look, this next one's pretty short, but I think we can both agree we're stoked. They announced not one, but 2 sequels for Halloween. Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. And they come out, I'm remembering off the top of my head, I think it's 2020 and 2021. They're a year apart. Or maybe it's 21 and 22. But either way, stoked to know that there's 2 more in the works. You stoked?
Yeah, man, I'm keen. I really thought very highly of that first one. Last year's one with David Gordon Green. I love that he's returning. Danny McBride is returning as well, which is great. But yeah, man, I'm really, really keen for these 2. I'm really keen to see how they go. Where I call bullshit though is Halloween Ends. There is no fucking way you're stopping with this character.
Fuck yeah! Look, even if this does end, they'll reboot it in 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So it'll be like Halloween Begins will be the next. Oh my god, that's going to happen.
I just love when studios do that. They're just like, oh, this is the last one. It's the finale. It's the be all and end all.
Yeah, my favorite example was actually with Nightmare on Elm Street. They had, I think it was number 7. It was like part 7. Freddy's dead or something, and then the next one was like. New Nightmare. Yeah. Oh, and then, you know what? Another one was with Jason. It goes, Jason Goes to Hell. And then they did like another 5 back to back with this. Oh, man. That's so slasher stuff. That's so slashery. But yeah, I'm definitely stoked. That sounds like the whole creative team's back. So hopefully it's just as good. But you know what? The thing I'm most stoked about? My biggest problem with a lot of slasher films is, especially from like the 80s and 90s, so they just kept killing off their cast. So there was never really felt like a continuation. I hope this means the character of Laurie will be in all 3, which means we actually get to see good character work and good storytelling.
I'm good
hopefully.
With Laurie. I'm actually good with Laurie. I don't want to see her again.
What?
Like I know that Jamie Lee Curtis is coming back, but I'm good with Laurie, dude. Like the last one, that first one actually felt kind of like a. Not really like a passing of the torch thing, but it felt like a generational thing. Like,
I get that.
I'm good with leaving the Strodes alone.
Ooh, I don't know if I'm ready for that, but I will admit that's a good point. It does have a lot of those vibes going on. So maybe they went down to the daughter or something. In like 2 or something. That could work. That could work. I'm not gonna lie.
No. I'm saying even leave the daughter alone. Like just like we've seen too much of the Strodes now, dude. Like just let it be.
So like a whole brand new story, new victims, new everything.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Fair enough. Look, you know what time it is? It's trailer time. Let's get in some trailers, bro. What do you think? What are you most excited about? Which
I'm
one
excited
really
for a lot of shit, dude. You're the host. Let's kick it off.
All right. Well, the first one I've got is Watchmen, and what I'll say about this, like, I was always on board for Watchmen. Like, right, I was always on board, and I liked the first trailer, but I really, really like this trailer. It's so much more fun, you know.
This looks incredible. This
it really does.
This trailer just absolutely, if you weren't sold before, then you're sold now, because it's just like, man, like Damon Lindelof, right? If you haven't seen The Leftovers, like stop this podcast, go watch all 3 seasons and then come back, because like that show is absolutely incredible, man. And Damon Lindelof He knows what he's doing, and I'm like, I remember when the photos of this show were coming out and shit, and it was just like, man, what is he doing? Like, what's like, why does this look so weird? And like now it turns out that it's kind of like a semi-sequel to the film, but it might actually be a semi-sequel to the comic book because there are references to the giant squid, which actually was replaced by the nuke in Zack Snyder's film. So, like it seems like that he is taking some creative liberties as well. Like Rorschach isn't a person, but it's actually a group of people. And it seems to be like this vigilante versus cop kind of thing, which is the essence of Watchmen. But I'm really keen to see where they go with this, really keen to see how they do Dr. Manhattan, because that is him in that final shot. This looks really great, man. Night Owl is in this. Ozymandias is in this, played by Jeremy Irons. Yeah, really, really fucking keen for this. And because it's HBO, it's going to be at least decent.
Oh, 100%. HBO. I can't remember the last time I saw a bad HBO show. Even if it's not my thing, it's usually still good, What I love about this is like they really do capture that tone and that visual aesthetic the film had, which is kind of one of the reasons things I liked about it so much. I'm actually thinking maybe all these Rorschach guys, if it is kind of like a semi-sequel, maybe it's like these the followers of Rorschach. That's a very comic booky trope, like where like I don't know, someone was an idea and now these other people follow it or something. What else I love about this is like this, they're going full on comic book with this. There's no hiding it. It's straight out the gate. Actually, you know what it reminds me a lot of? It looks a lot like Umbrella Academy to me. And I fucking love Umbrella Academy on Netflix. That show is fucking great. And this show reminds me like aesthetically and the way that they're just so unapologetically less like comic book, but the colors are still very dark and there's high contrast. Like, I love that vibe. I just hope this show has good pacing. I'm already going to assume it's got great character work because the characters are just fucking cool. And there's so much potential with this show, There's so many places you could take this story.
I'll tell you what it will have.
Yeah?
It'll have some great fucking music because it's done by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross.
Right, yeah. Trent Reznor is the fucking man, dude. No doubt. No doubt at all. I'm hoping, the other thing I'm kind of hoping for the show is we get some social commentary somehow. Like the original film did that.
That'll be in there. Oh,
and
for
with
sure,
nowadays,
dude. Like,
there's a lot of stuff to say, It's
kind of easy to do it. A little too easy.
Yeah, but like you've got great source, like sort of characters and stuff here. You could do it well if you've got something good to say and you execute it right. They could also not go that route and it would still be fine, but it's a total option.
And we finally have a release date.
We do, right?
October 2019.
When was that?
Yeah.
October 20th, you said. That's awesome.
No, October 2019.
2019. Sorry, my bad. I didn't hear that. Do we know how us in Australia are getting it? It's probably going to be like a Foxtel thing, right? Like Game of Thrones?
It'll be a Foxtel thing because they have HBO rights, for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm fully in. I'll be honest, before I wasn't too sure. And this has got my goat, man. I'm really stoked for it. But hey, speaking of TV shows based on movies that who like to get a little weird, did you see the trailer for Snowpiercer?
I did because you made me watch it.
Did you like the film? Did you like the original film?
I did. I really liked the film. Like, the film was really unique. It was a really, awesome take on, some really weird science fiction, but, I'm there for it, dude. Like, it was kind of like a different kind of post-apocalyptic science fiction film that had something to say on classism and class warfare. Plus, great performances from Chris Evans and Tilda Swinton with some great fucking action put in as well. So... When I heard they were doing a TV show about this, I was like, oh, I don't know what kind of how much content there is for a TV show. Maybe a miniseries, but I don't know about a show.
I am 100% with you, man.
Yeah.
It seems
this
like
looks
a weird
more of
thing.
The same.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. It looks, it's a weird concept, like to turn into a show. Like, it makes you just wonder, what can you do with this premise that hasn't been done yet?
And it looks like they're going for more of the same thing, right? Like, you get these characters. I mean, it seems like Jennifer Connelly is playing Tilda Swinton's character, and the crux of the story is them trying to make their way to the engine, and the the tailors or the tailies or whatever they call themselves, the guys at the end of the train in the tail section, have to rise up and make their way to the engine, like to the front or to the top of the class system.
Yeah, that's the movie. That's literally the movie. But like, what's interesting is, and maybe I'm wrong here. Tell me if you know if I'm wrong or right. But like, I swear when they first announced this, they said the show was going to be about what happened after that crash. So maybe, and if that's true, and maybe I'm making it up, but like maybe just the first season's based on the movie, or the first, maybe this footage mostly comes from the first couple episodes. That's pretty common with TV shows. Or maybe no, maybe it's just the movie stretched out into 8 seasons or some shit. This show probably won't go for 8 seasons. I'm going to say that now. But
no, I'm reading that it takes place in like a reboot narrative of the film. So it's not really... well, actually, hold on, I'm reading it now. The events on the train start about 7 years after the global catastrophe. And that's mentioned in the trailer as well. Or was it 6 years or some shit? But like...
Some shit.
Yeah, I mean, I think it does take place before the crash at the end.
Right, so that they're even limiting themselves more. Like, I'm sure they've got some great thing planned out. Like, it had to get greenlit somehow. Yeah, I guess it's going to be one of those you have to watch to find out. I am interested in it because I love the film so much, and the trailer is really good. But I'm skeptical if this has legs.
The first episode is directed by Scott Derrickson, who directed Doctor Strange.
Hey, you know what? I like that guy. He's a good bloke. Oh,
he's a good bloke.
He made a good
more
movie.
on him later.
Oh, yeah, more on him later. A lot more on him later. One more TV show that comes from a movie. We've got Star Trek Picard. Zohab, are you much of a Star Trek? Are you a Trekkie?
I'm okay, so this is where my nerddom is going to be exposed. I am not a massive Trekkie. I think I talked about this on our Star Trek 2009 feature presentation. Did not watch the TV show growing up. Didn't watch anything pre-2009 Star Trek, J.J. Abrams Star Trek. I did see bits and pieces. Obviously, I'm aware of, like, you know, the 2 different captains, the 2 different timelines, you know, the Next Generation, and who the main villains are in the Next Generation, being the Borg, which is an entity that you get a quick glimpse at in this trailer. But I'm really keen for this, dude. Like, this looks great, I think. I didn't check out Star Trek Discovery because I heard some really kind of like whack things about that show that didn't really interest me. But just the fact that they got Patrick Stewart back, fuck yeah. Yeah,
I'm actually, funnily enough, pretty much the same as you. In fact, maybe you know more about it than me. Like, outside of the J.J. Abrams films, I played a game on Super Nintendo when I was a kid once, and I think that's it.
Nice.
Yeah, but obviously I'm aware of a lot of the references and pop culture. And I know that Patrick Stewart, like, this was his bread and butter for a whole while, and this probably means so much to some people, just not me. That being said, one thing I am impressed with this trailer is it looks like it's got a solid budget. Like, this looks beautifully shot. The VFX are all looking great. This is a solid trailer, without a doubt. Patrick Stewart somehow leading a show at his age is just impressive by itself. Look, I'm gonna be honest.
And they got Brent Spiner back as Data, and Jonathan Frakes as William Riker.
Oh, who's the other guy? Because Data's the guy at the end, right?
Yeah, that's Data, the one, you know, the kind of machine.
Who's the other one?
Riker.
Oh, is that the chick?
No, Riker's a guy. Yeah, come on, dude. You gotta know that. Even I know that.
I'm pretty nerdy, but I'm not that nerdy, apparently.
You know what? That's staying in the fucking episode. That's not going to get edited out.
All right, fair enough. Look, I'll be honest, I probably won't watch this one, but mostly because...
You want to move on before you keep embarrassing yourself, Matt.
Oh, yeah, no, but to be fair, like, you know, and as a movie podcast, like, I'm the type of person, I don't watch a lot of TV shows these days. If I do, I like it when Netflix comes out with a season because I can binge it in a weekend and then I'm done. Or a lot of stuff I watch is mostly comedy on TV because it's easy to watch. And so if you get me watching a drama show, like something like Game of Thrones or Breaking Bad, like, I will invest myself heavily in that. But it's a lot of work to get me to that point, usually.
All right. Stop defending yourself.
Yeah. But, you know, shout outs to Star Trek. It actually looks like a good show. There's a lot of shitty sci-fi shows out there too, so props to them. Let's move on to a movie. One I think you're pretty excited about, based off an older film that I have to admit I haven't seen. But Tom Cruise is back. Top Gun Maverick. Lay it on me, bro. How stoked are you? How many times did you jerk off this trailer?
Stoked. I am fucking keen for this movie, dude. Yeah, man. I think this is this. Okay, if anything, this movie is going to look beautiful. Like this director. I'm trying to bring up his name, but who was it again? He did Tron Legacy. Joseph Kosinski. So Joseph Kosinski did Tron Legacy, and he did Tom Cruise's Oblivion as well. Both of which are really fucking fantastic looking movies, dude. And man, like seeing Ed Harris, dude. Like Ed Harris, I love Ed Harris, man. Like the guy is like wrinkled as shit, but like I am on board. A lot of this looks like it doesn't look like. I mean, like it looks like there's action in it, but it doesn't look like there'd be as much action as I suspected or predicted, because like if I was to make a 2020 Top Gun movie, it would have like fucking planes like fighting each other like every fucking second, dude. It would be Michael Bay'd up. In other words, it'd be shit. But like it's not what I expected. Like they're going for more of a Top Gun sort of like, you know, the original style. It's a bit more story driven. That I'm really keen for it. Tom Cruise looks like he hasn't aged a day. The only thing that was really missing from this trailer was Kenny Loggins. Like I needed Danger Zone.
Yeah, it's surprising. Like they could have very easily gone down that nostalgia route with Danger Zone. Ballsy move, they didn't do that. I reckon you're definitely going to get it in one of the trailers.
You don't think there's a lot of nostalgia in this trailer? There's so much nostalgia. This trailer is dripping.
Okay, well, this is coming from someone who didn't see it, so I probably missed a lot of that stuff. I think you actually raised a really good point. I think there would be a lot of pressure for a film like this, boiling nostalgia, to try and make it into a blockbuster franchise. Like we just saw that happen for Men in Black, and look how well that turned out. But this film, like, you know what it reminds me of, weirdly? Interstellar, because it's or Interstellar type trailer, maybe, because hear me out, because it's very big on that epic score. It's very like there, and everything feels so real and grounded. Like none of this feels like fake or CGI. I don't think there's a second of green screen. And something that Tom Cruise said when they surprise announced this thing at Comic-Con with Conan was that like they spent ages training with the Navy. I'm pretty sure Tom is flying all these planes, at least for the most part. I could be wrong on that. But it all just feels, if I had to describe it in one word, it's authentic. This all feels very real, you know? And if you compare a movie like Gravity to Interstellar, like Interstellar feels real the way those rocket ships and spaceships fly and take off, you know? And you look at Gravity, it feels kind of fake with the CGI. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, like now you're just comparing directors, though. Like you're comparing Nolan, who likes to be as practical as he possibly can, to Gravity, which is, I mean, like you can't go up there and shoot that fucking film. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
okay, that's a good point. Like the practicality is a big point, but like the feel of reality is so strong in this, and it basically, you know what this is? It's that Mission Impossible scene with the helicopter, except it's a plane and it's the full movie. And you know what? If that's what this movie is, I'm on board. That sounds cool. Hell, I'll even go back and watch the old one to prepare myself.
I don't think it'll be that full on. Like it'll be, you'll have some stuff in there. Like it's $140 million budget, but like essentially the story is like Maverick, Tom Cruise's character. He's a flight instructor at Top Gun now, and like he's like a mentor, and he has to train Bradley Bradshaw, who's the son of his. Like the guy who died in the first one, Goose. His son.
So it's Creed.
So it's kind of like a it's kind of like Creed, I guess.
Creed.
But like,
right, another good movie, so I'm okay with that. It's Creed with planes.
Yeah, I mean, like it didn't invent like father and son shit, but you know,
of course not. Yeah. Did you have any other thoughts or any in-depth analysis or hot takes on this trailer before we move on?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's written by Christopher McQuarrie, who directed the last two Mission Impossible films, so really keen for that.
That's a good sign. It's a good sign. Next up, another sequel, It Chapter 2. We've covered this before on the podcast, but we got a bunch of new footage at San Diego Comic-Con. Did this change anything for you?
Oh, dude, like I was always going to see this movie, but I mean, like this trailer kicked so much ass. Like both trailers that we've seen now, kicked ass. Like this, they're so well edited. They feel fucking epic. Like the music that they're using is like epic. It's
you don't normally get that from a horror film trailer, do you?
No, you don't. But like, I see what they're going for, and like, it's definitely working in their favor. I think. And like,
I agree.
In this trailer, we see more of the grown-up losers club. They're returning to Derry after so many years, and it looks full on, dude. Like it looks like a fantastic film. I'm really keen to see what Andy Muschietti does with this film and like how he adapts the book, because we know from the book that shit's about to get crazy.
Right. Yeah, man. Look, there's not a lot for me to say about this other than it looks epic. I like this trailer even more than the last one, and I like the last one quite a bit. I'm just still, I don't know, this seems like maybe it's a weird thing to say, but I'm just so surprised at how good this looks, because it's rarely you see a trailer to a horror film and you get this level of excitement. You know, often it feels like with horror films, the more films they make, the cheaper and shittier they get. There are some exceptions.
I think more than anything, it looks confident. Like the director, Andy Muschietti, like that first one was really, really well, strongly directed. And I think in this one, he was just so much more confident. So we'll see how far that confidence takes him. But like, I think even the cast, like how fantastic the cast is. I think, Bill Skarsgård is like pulling out all the stops for Pennywise this time around as well. And like, now that you're not acting with child actors anymore, you can do so much more shit. So
yeah, man, 100%. Next up, Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Another question for you: how many times you jerk off to this trailer?
Oh man, anyone who knows me knows that I love Kevin Smith. Like, I love that man to death. Like, seriously, he was the first autobiography that I read. Man, like, that fucking book is incredible. I follow his podcasts, plural podcasts, very closely. That includes Smodcast, Fat Man Beyond, and Jay and Silent Bob Get Old. The guy is just a pop culture sort of wizard, man. And like, since the first Jay and Silent Bob, way back in 2001, by the way, like that movie's 18 years old. Like, that's fucking wild. He has come so fucking far. And seeing him release like this trailer, like I'd been like following his kind of like production on this, like, because like he'd drop little hints about it on the podcast and shit. I am so excited for this movie. Like, I don't like, more so than other people, I think, just because I know that it's Kevin Smith and I know like how jam packed it's going to be with a lot of Kevin Smith isms. It just looks like a fun time, and like a lot of people are like being like really critical of it, but I'm just like, man, like Kevin Smith will be the first one to tell you that his movies aren't good. Like, the only objectively good film like that you could probably point out is Clerks, that first one. Like, that is a damn fine film, and like he took that to Sundance, like, and everything like that. But man, like that first Jay and Silent Bob, it is not a good movie. Like, I will tell you right fucking now, it is not a good movie, but it is a fun movie. Like, it knows that it's retarded as all hell, dude. Like, it is fucking stupid, but it's just a fun watch. Like, it's something good to have in the background as you're just chilling on a Sunday afternoon, like seeing all these cameos pop up, seeing this retarded story just play out. It's just a fun watch, and this looks more of the same, which Kevin Smith said it's basically the same movie except just re-updated to 2019.
Yeah, man. And speaking of those cameos, there are so many in this. Although I would argue some these cameos, I wouldn't call 2019, because a lot of them are people who were super famous 5 years ago, or maybe 10. But yeah, like we got Jason Biggs, we got Method Man and Redman.
Well, why they're in there though, right?
Weren't they in one of the other ones? Is that right? Well, some connection.
When did you last watch Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back?
Was a long time ago, bro.
Okay. So
are they in that?
They're returning cast members. So right. Jason Biggs and James Van Der Beek. The story of the original one is basically Jay and Silent Bob crossing the country to stop a movie being made about them, and the guys that are playing Jay and Silent Bob are James Van Der Beek and Jason Biggs, and they're coming back for this one.
Oh, right. Fair enough.
Right.
I didn't really remember them being them. That's crazy.
That's why you get Matt Damon again. That's why you get Ben Affleck again.
You're always going to get Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, right? But yeah, we get them. That's fucking awesome. We got those rappers. Chris Hemsworth looks like he might have shown up on a green screen for one day. Who else is in this? We've got his daughter.
Know what? Chris Hemsworth's edition. So Kevin Smith talks about it. I think it's on Fat Man Beyond. He just got him for I think it was one day, and then Chris Hemsworth asked him to +1, as a +1 to the Avengers Endgame premiere, and Kevin Smith's I get to go with you to the premiere. You're choosing me. Yeah,
that's amazing.
It's great. So it'll just be a short cameo, but I mean, you get people like Rosario Dawson, who's obviously starred in Kevin Smith films before, like Clerks 2. Man, there's just so many cameos. Like David Dastmalchian at the start, right there as well. It's loads.
That was my next one. Yeah, man, it's so great. Look, I think we'll be amiss if we don't mention it. And also, this just feels so Kevin Smith. There's a Comic-Con scene. There's fucking everything, man. So much weed, so much crazy shit. It feels kind of like a movie, like the type of comedy you would normally see back in the late 90s or something. But I'm totally
like 2001.
Yeah, something like that. But as you said, it's kind of it's a remake in a way. It's not really a remake.
It won't be a good movie. It won't be a good movie.
You know what? Good is subjective. Especially comedy. Comedy is very subjective. This film is made for a particular audience. The average moviegoer might not enjoy this, especially that. But you know what? Kevin Smith is one of the most successful and famous legitimate nerds, and nerds are cool now. They own the box office. So I honestly think there's a bigger audience for a type movie like this now than there was before, because the best comedies are stoner comedies these days. Plus, you throw in all this Comic-Con references and stuff, and comic references, and that's awesome. Also, this is by Sabian Films, the guys who do Power Rangers. What the fuck?
Yeah,
Saban. Sorry, I pronounced it wrong, but yeah, that's funny. But look, before we move on, I think we should mention, because I know you would love to. We didn't mention this the other week. There's another Kevin Smith-esque film coming out, and we can just quickly touch on this. Madness in the Method. What do you tell us about that project? What do you think of that?
Yeah, it's more of a Jason Mewes project than a Kevin Smith project. I mean, it's directed by Mewes as well, so it's kind of his little baby. And you can tell that it's Jason Mewes' first movie and shit like that. So it's just like a tiny little film, and you can tell because it looks like it might be direct to DVD. Either way, if I find it, if I come across it, I'll watch it, but I'm not going to seek it out.
Yeah, it looks like it was done a very small budget over a long period of time. Kevin Smith is in it, but he's a lot heavier than he is now. But
right,
crazy cameos.
It feels like it was shot ages ago.
Yeah, but I'm even noticing this is an indie film, I think, but with some big names in it, Danny Trejo's in it, and most notably, it's the final cameo of Stan Lee. So shout outs to that. I think it might be cool to check it out, but it's not like Jalen Silent Bob, that's for sure. Let's move on, shall we? We got a couple more trailers. Actually, we've got one last trailer to talk about before we move on to the big news, and that's Marvel. If you're still with us, or you're waiting for Marvel, don't worry, it's coming. I haven't played the game that this is based off, but I know you have, and you're a fan. We finally got a full proper trailer of The Witcher TV series. What do you reckon, bro? Are you on board?
This looks awesome. This looked a lot better than I thought. I think there is still a little bit of weirdness to Henry Cavill as Geralt of Rivia. It might be the beard, but again, you could leave that shit for season 2. Netflix have continually said that they are adapting the books, not the game. There's been a lot of complaints about him not having 2 swords and shit like that. So Netflix are like, look, we're adapting the books, and we're adapting the books for the long run. That's how it's going to go. It's not eventually going to turn into something that's adapting from Witcher 3 or some shit like that. It's going to be from the games. Sorry, from the books. This looks fun, dude. Like, I'm really keen for this. It looks like the budget looks pretty big. Yennefer looks fucking awesome. Like, she's this kind of like chick who like transforms and shit. Like she changes her, like the way she looks to like lure people in. She's the one with the like the weird chin at the start kind of thing.
Right.
Like she's kind of like all fucked up. But yeah, I'm really keen to see like some more magic and like the creatures in this. The monsters look awesome, dude. The spider at the end, CG looks solid. Yeah, really, really stoked for this. This will be a day one watch for me. Probably a binge. It'll come out. It'll all drop in one go. So
here's what I'll say. So I haven't played the game. I'm not attached to this franchise, but the fact that it comes out all at once, Netflix style, if it happens on a weekend where I'm free, I will watch the whole thing. But if this is coming out week by week, I probably wouldn't, just because personally I'm not really into a lot of fantasy and medieval stuff. But you can't deny this looks epic. Like, clearly great budget behind it. Plus Henry Cavill's as a lead. That's a big get. Like, that's Superman. Most of the special effects look pretty cool. You mentioned something which I think makes me think, and I think it might be worth mentioning. I have a feeling the reason Netflix keep adamantly saying it's based on the book is actually legal reasons. I think whatever was created for the games was probably owned by the studio, so they only actually have the rights to attach like stuff from the books, possibly. But in addition to that, also it could be also PR as well, trying to like, set expectations and stuff. But yeah, I won't lie, it looks like a cool show. It's always great to see. I love the fact that now TV shows can have a great budget behind it and they can look beautiful. 10 years ago, most shows didn't look this great, right? Now I feel like every third show coming out does. We're living a good time. We're living in good times, man.
It's a good time to be a nerd.
Yeah, amazing time to be a nerd. Do you have anything else on this trailer?
No. Other than that, I'm keen for it, really.
And let's get in to the real fucking shit. The reason I'm fucking stoked, man. Motherfucking Marvel. Ooh, boy, Marvel. Okay. Calm down, Matt. Okay. Marvel announced all their phase 4 of films and television shows. Some of it was announced before, some of it wasn't, but they all came with new announcements and exciting crap to go with it.
No, none of it was announced.
No, the TV shows were.
The TV shows were, not the films.
The movies weren't. Some of them, Eternals were also announced, but we had some hints. We knew some things.
Are you sure?
Most of this we did not know. Some of it we assumed, but each thing came with a nice surprise. So that's pretty cool. And what should be mentioned is also, so it looks like their phase 4 is kind of like, I don't want to say filler, but it's not like the other phases. We've got no Avengers. That's listed here at least.
That's
and
something that I wanted to talk about.
Subject to change, and it's only 2 years. It only covers the next 2 years. But overall thoughts, what do you reckon?
Yeah, so Kevin Feige, I liked him, man. Like I like the lineup, but yeah, Kevin Feige talks about like it's only going to be like phase 4 is only going to be 2 years. They don't have any specific event films. Like this is the first phase not to have an event film, like Avengers or something like that. There were a couple of surprises in here, not really like what they announced, but really what they didn't announce. I knew Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was going to be a while away because James Gunn has said that he's going to start working on that after Suicide Squad 2. But really, I wasn't expecting Thor 3 to be announced before... Sorry, Thor 4, Love and Thunder, to be announced before Guardians, especially because, like, where we leave off with Thor. So that was really surprising. Plus...
go on.
I was also really surprised they didn't mention, like they did mention that Captain Marvel 2 and Black Panther 2 were in development, but I didn't think that we would need to wait for the next phase for those two to come through, because like those are $2 billion movies, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's kind of weird that, it's not really weird that we get a Doctor Strange before those two movies. It's just because, like, you know, considering that Doctor Strange was 2017, so yeah, I just thought it was really surprising. Those are the only two sort of things for me that were just like, oh wow, we're not really getting those. And obviously, you know, the last reveal is probably the biggest surprise that we'll talk about in a second.
Oh, that was a big one. Look, a lot of these things actually explain some other things for me. And there's some other stuff that should be mentioned. So the Thor 4 was kind of rumored and kind of people claimed it was leaked, but the name was new and all that. And people did say it would feature a female Thor, but it was amazing to see this, and the way they announced it was fucking incredible.
Get into that when we get to it.
Yeah. Some of these announcements, some of the extra little details were surprising, which we'll get into that later. The biggest one that's missing for me, and I want to mention something as to why, is Spider-Man 3. That usually Spider-Man's been coming out every 2 years, and it hasn't sort of counted with the normal Marvel schedule because Sony owns it. And this is right off the tail of a story that's been going around the internet for the last maybe half a week before San Diego Comic-Con. And I think this is why.
I know what you're about to say.
I'm going to lay this, you know what? Yeah.
I don't give it a lot of weight.
But yeah, supposedly the deal was with Sony is that one of those Spider-Man solo films had to break $1 billion in order for Marvel to maintain the creative rights. And it hasn't done that yet. So maybe it's like, this could be the negotiation tactic behind the scenes. Maybe it's not. Or maybe they want to take their time with it. Who knows?
Dude, I mean, Spider-Man Far From Home, as we are recording currently, is sitting at $975 million worldwide. Like, it is going to crack $1 billion for sure. So, I mean, like, even if that rumor was true, then essentially Marvel get to keep the rights.
Yeah, and that's what we all want, right? Because there was also word about close to less than a year ago that when Sony changed, I think, CEOs or something, that they were looking to heavily negotiate and make some strong demands about their whole company, and one of those things being what they want to do with Marvel. But yeah, I'm a little bit bummed we didn't see some of our favorite heroes here, but also happy to see that we got some of them, and even more so, we got a lot of new exciting franchises. So let's get right into it, shall we? All right.
Okay.
So the first one, and this is probably the biggest one in terms of what they had to say, because they've been working on this for a while, is the Eternals. So they brought up the full cast.
I think before we move on, Matt, like we're going to be going through the entire Phase 4 slate by way of how it was announced, by way of how Kevin Feige announced it. This is not the release order, because Kevin Feige, he did go through mostly release order, but he kind of like changed it around. So Eternals is actually the second Marvel film that we will get, because the next one immediately following Far From Home is Black Widow.
That is correct. I think the reason why is, I believe it's because they showed some footage, because they've been spending about 30 days already shooting Black Widow, and Eternals, I don't think they've started production on. They're about to. Yeah, and Black Widow looks like it's nearly done. So hopefully this means we're going to get a trailer for Black Widow soon. Fingers crossed. But yeah, the Eternals, and they brought out the full cast. Zoab, who came up on stage? Who do we have?
Yeah, so we had Kate Shortland. Oh, sorry, Kate Shortland. Sorry, I'm talking about Black Widow. I didn't watch the entire sort of live stream. I didn't watch the entire. I saw bits and pieces, but I did see Kumail for sure, Kumail Nanjiani, and I think Chloe Zhao, the director, came up. But I don't know. Dude. Like, I don't know.
We had everybody. Just basically, who's the cast? We got
Brian Tyree Henry, Salma Hayek, like Richard Madden, and confirming Angelina Jolie as Thena. Like, this is an incredible cast.
Yeah, and you know what? It's an incredibly diverse cast. It's definitely the most diverse cast we've seen before. It also includes a character, I can't remember the character's name, who's deaf. It's the first deaf superhero Marvel's done. Apparently she'll be doing sign language and everything. And what everybody's saying as well is Kumail looks like he's been going through that Marvel diet, because he used to be a little bit, I wouldn't say he was chubby, but he had a bit of flab on him. And that dude's looking a little ripped now. So shout outs to him. When I see a lineup like this, obviously in a film like this, I think of Guardians of the Galaxy. I wonder how many of these characters will be CGI'd in weird colors. There was also some concept art that was shown, which made me more confused. This is the first Marvel film where I'm going in knowing jack shit. Like, I have no idea who the fuck any of these people are. I know Gilgamesh is meant to be strong with the Hulk, and that's it.
Yeah, that excites me. Like, just knowing that there's nothing that I know about any of these characters.
Yeah, all I can say is from watching that, and I can take, there's a deaf character. They're all immortal. And one of the questions for Don Lee, who plays Gilgamesh, was like, who would win the fight, Gilgamesh or the Hulk? I'm like, okay.
Also directed by an indie director, Chloe Zhao.
Yeah, and she looks young too. Like, I have no idea how old she is. Maybe she's not young, but she looks young. But yeah, shout outs to them. It looks like Marvel are really wanting to push this film as one of their big new franchises. Really? Fuck, good for her. Yeah, good for her.
That Asian genes.
Yeah, man, good for them. Hey, do you have anything else to say about Eternals before we move on?
No, dude, just move. Like, yeah, let's move us on. Like,
let's go through it. It's hard to talk about stuff you don't know.
I'll interrupt you if I have shit to say, so don't worry.
Okay, yeah, it's hard to talk about things you don't know. So next up was the first show to hit Disney Plus streaming service, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We had Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan come back. We full see the Captain America shield, and he came out with it was funny, man. Anthony Mackie came out holding the shield, and he let Sebastian hold it, and he took it back off him. And we're getting Daniel Bruhl. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Bruhl. He's returning as the villain Baron Zemo, and he'll wear his comic accurate mask. Dude, are you stoked for this?
I'm super stoked. Not necessarily for the Falcon or the Winter Soldier, but Daniel Bruhl. Like, I love that actor. If you've heard our Rush podcast, you'll know that I fucking love that actor, dude. Also, on his Instagram today, he dropped a really kind of like blurry image of him wearing the mask. If you go to his Instagram, it looks fucking dope.
Yeah, it looked like the way that we were doing it at the thing was sort of like they were getting interrupted, and apparently they showed some footage there, which I think this screenshot might be from, but I can't say for sure because that stuff's like not allowed to be online. But dude, like I said, straight up, he was one, even though he's not like violently like an action-based one of the best Marvel villains, emotionally, I think he has one of the best motivations and most interesting.
Oh, he's a great actor. He can pull that shit off for sure in his sleep, for sure.
100%. And then, like, come on, Anthony Mackie, like, he is so fucking charismatic, and every fucking Marvel female fan has a crush on Sebastian Stan. Like, this show's gonna fucking knock it out of the park. Marvel, don't fuck this up.
Matthew,
you won't fuck this up because you're Marvel.
I think let's reserve the phrase I think Marvel is going to knock this out of the park. We're not going to say that for the next nine times we go through these things, dude. Like, we can't.
They will. Yeah,
yeah.
Right. Let's got the best track record of all time.
Let's just do a blanket term, dude. Like, all right, Marvel's going to knock all of this shit out of the park. Let's just say that.
Oh man, let me just ask you this real quick. What would you want from a show like this, The Falcon and Winter Soldier?
I would want something in the vein of like the tone of the Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
I'd love that kind of tone with a little bit of humor between the two, because like, you know, they've got some pretty good banter between the two. But like when shit gets serious, I want it to be serious. Like, I want Baron Zemo like absolutely fucking these two up. Like, you know what I mean? I want to see Baron Zemo like put these two through the ringer.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I saw a show where I was just like, oh, this has the best potential ever. Like, I hope it just feels like a Marvel film with every episode, you know? Because you got those two characters, great chemistry. It's a total buddy cop thing. If they go that Captain America Winter Soldier route, we know we're going to be fucking obsessed with it. It's going to be great. And they've got a great villain. Like, it'll be hard to make this bad, even with a shitty writer, you know?
Yeah,
this has to be amazing.
Yeah.
Next up, we got, I finally know how to pronounce this now. I think it's Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi?
Yeah, it's not Shang. I always thought it was Shang, but it's like, I think it's Shang or Zhang or something like that.
No, okay, I'm gonna say it how it's spelled. All right,
okay.
All right, Asian listeners, kill me.
Yeah, Shang-Chi, and we got the subtitle and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Who's starring in this one? The cast is revealed.
Yeah, so I mean, Simu Liu is the titular character. Shang-Chi. He's unknown, relatively unknown, but like I think that's one of the most exciting things, that he is relatively unknown. But like, he posted a tweet. I think it was today or yesterday, but he was just like, last month, I was sitting in front of my computer in my underwear eating spaghetti, and now I'm a superhero.
Actually, I want to correct you there. I think it was last week, because apparently what he said was...
Oh, whatever.
He was cast, I think, last Tuesday. He did a screen test on last Sunday.
Wow.
And then the following week, he went to Comic-Con.
That's cool. I dig that. Yeah.
And dude, what I can say from seeing him, he is so incredibly charismatic. He was so funny. He was so confident. And like, I saw some comments on YouTube and they were just like, oh, he's Robert Downey Jr. Like, he's got this amazing, like,
we'll see. That's a big call. All right, we'll see. Okay, just
look, I don't mean to put some YouTube commenter on blast, but like, I could see where it's coming from. This guy was pretty charismatic.
I think people need to stop throwing shit around like that. Like, you know what I mean?
That's a big call. You are right. That is a big call.
We've also got Awkwafina, just making her Marvel debut. But probably the most interesting announcement is Tony Leung, and the person he is playing, confirmed by Kevin Feige, is the Mandarin, and this is the actual real Mandarin. So Kevin Feige actually said, he was an imposter in Iron Man 3, but then he popped up in that one shot that we did, and we found out that the Mandarin is still out there. The real Mandarin is still out there, and here he will be playing. He'll be played by Tony Leung, and he will be the uncle of Shang-Chi.
Oh, I missed that part, the uncle bit. Wow. Now, I'm not familiar with Tony Leung, but from my understanding in like the Asian martial arts scene, he's kind of a big deal. Like, there were a lot of comments that go, oh my God, Tony Leung. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? And looked at his IMDb page, and a lot of them didn't seem like they were English films, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, he was in Infernal Affairs, which is the Asian movie that The Departed is based on.
Oh, okay. That would explain the hype. Okay, yeah. And the Mandarin is a beloved character. He's kind of like, in the comics, in the old comics, he was kind of like Iron Man's Joker. He was kind of like one of the big bads up against Iron Man, but it never really kind of made sense to put him on the films because a lot of Iron Man villains are technology-based. Shang-Chi, the Mandarin is like, he's magic, and he has like these 10 rings that do stuff like that. And in Iron Man 1, they kind of made it into like a terrorist group. And they've hinted at in other films, such as Ant-Man and, there was another one, I can't remember which one it was. But in Iron Man 2, and there was another one, I can't remember which one. But anyways, it's cool to see that this character, what he's going to be like. And hopefully this means they're going to tie into that one shot, and maybe we can get a scene with the old Mandarin, because that would be pretty funny. But going all out with this. And I'm also really stoked to see Awkwafina. She was my favorite part about Crazy Rich Asians. I thought she was funny as fuck.
Okay.
And
she's
like,
fine.
If she's going to be the comedy relief of this film, like, I'm on board for that.
I don't know. I find her a little annoying. Like, I don't know.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like she always has to be kind of like, I don't know. She always has to be she's kind of like the Kevin Hart, if that makes sense.
Dude, that's a good comparison, actually.
Yeah. But anyway, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, another indie director, in theaters, February 12th, 2021.
Yeah, 2 days after my birthday.
Nice.
Pretty stoked. And yeah, that's a predominantly Asian cast. Kind of looks like they're trying to do what they did with Black Panther, but for like Asian culture. And also, I didn't know this, but I was doing some reading. Apparently, before Disney bought Marvel, I think DreamWorks were trying to do a film out of this. And
you sure it's not Paramount?
It would make more sense if it was Paramount. I read this in IMDb and they said DreamWorks. Like, that doesn't sound right. Paramount would sound a lot more.
DreamWorks is like sense. Spielberg and shit. Like, I don't know if that's.
Yeah, right. It was some other company, and apparently they were working that. But apparently, like the continuing thing, and same with this film that everyone says about this, is it has to be like a true blue martial arts film. And dude, as someone who grew up in like, as a kid, I used to love watching 80s Hong Kong like martial art films. So like to see if they even just have a hint of that in this, I'm going to be really stoked. But I'm going to be stoked either way because it's Marvel. But yeah, that's our next big hero that we're getting in February 2021. Next up, we've got another show, possibly the worst name ever, WandaVision, where we got Scarlet Witch and the Vision in their own show. It takes place post-Endgame, I understand. So I know what the fuck's going to happen there. And we're also getting... And okay, maybe you can help me out with this, man, because this is where I really get confused. Monica Rambeau, who's a character who was introduced as a child in Captain Marvel.
Yeah, so that's the daughter of Maria Rambeau.
Right. Oh, right. Okay, I remember now.
Yeah. So she was the one. Remember, she was like kind of like choosing her colors of the uniform and shit. Like that's
right. I forgot about her.
Yeah. So I'm really keen to see like how she factors into this. Like it just seems kind of like a weird. Just kind of a bit out of left field. I think the title of WandaVision was like a bit shocking at first, but like kind of now it's growing on me for some reason. I also really dig the logo. Like it seems like a retro kind of like 60s, 50s sort of like kind of logo. But more than anything, man, I'm just really keen to see Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany back.
Yeah, same. On topic of logos, I love all these logos except maybe the Loki logo. That's a little bit weird, but like a lot of these are really cool to just even look at. But yeah, look, we're getting 2 Avengers in their own show. That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see how they bring back Vision. Like, I hope they do it in a way that's not too cheesy. This and it directly ties into Captain Marvel, so that's cool. From my understanding, Monica Rambeau is a superhero. I think she'll have some sort of superpower. I don't fully understand it. This also directly ties into another Marvel film coming out, which we'll talk about later. And that's really exciting because it'll be the first proper Marvel show that, I guess Winter Soldier as well. Winter Soldier and Falcon as well. But like these shows actually tie into the MCU. All the other shows, like it's very one way.
Right.
Like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. got fucked over by Infinity War. Yeah. And the Netflix shows are pretty much confirmed and non-canon now with this new casting for Blade. But that's the thing that excites me most. Knowing these will have budgets, that's awesome, right?
Yeah, exactly, for sure. But I just wanted to correct you. So Monica Rambeau, like they even set her up in Captain Marvel. She eventually becomes Captain Marvel.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yep.
Oh, I am corrected. That's interesting. Wow, then I'm really interested to see what they do with her. Maybe she's going to be a side character who talks to him and fixes a plane. Maybe she's a full-fledged Captain Marvel superhero. Can't wait to find that out. Because you have to remember, Captain Marvel was in the 90s, so like 20 years have passed.
So spring 2021 is when that comes, and spring 2021 is also when another show comes up. What is that, Matthew?
We're finally getting Loki. Which has been talked about for ages. But Tom Hiddleston is returning. He's getting his own show. And as Kevin Feige explained, while you might be thinking, but I thought Loki died. Well, apparently this doesn't follow the Loki that we know and love. It's the 2014 Loki that disappeared in Endgame. And he travels around places and whatever with his little Tesseract. So he hasn't had the same character development the other Loki had, and he will go on his own little adventures and stuff like that. Yeah, so he's going to be a villain. Maybe the arc is he learns to be good or whatever. It'll be interesting to see what they do with this. Will this tie into Thor 4? Who knows? Yeah, are you stoked for a Loki show? I mean, you got to be, right?
I mean, yeah. Like, what more else is there to say about this dude? Like, I love the concept that he gets to travel through different periods of time and fucking shit up and shit. Like, I want to see like how he influences human history. Like, it'll be cool. It'll be awesome. I'm really. I like if they venture down the whole Watchmen alternate history stuff. Then I'm way down for that. So,
honestly, like if you told me this film existed or this show existed like 8 years ago or something, or whenever the last Thor film came out, I'd be like, you can't do a show based on that character. But they spent a lot of Ragnarok and Thor the Dark World just like showing he can be like heroic and he can have interesting adventures. And dude, Tom Hiddleston can act his fucking ass off, bro. So, and he's charismatic as fuck. So very excited about that. I hope we can see it tie into other Marvel properties somehow.
I mean, I think that's a given with this studio.
I hope so. Dude, the next one is the fucking one of the craziest ones. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. With Benedict Cumberbatch coming back as Doctor Strange, and we've got the same director coming back, Scott Derrickson, and we've got a few announcements that are fucking insane, dude. So there's two big ones. The first one is Scarlet Witch.
I'll get the second one.
Coming back. And yep. And I think it sounds like she'll be like an apprentice, like learning how to use her powers with him and stuff. And so it's really cool to see her tie into a film that's not an Avengers film. And then we got probably the craziest one. What's that?
Wait, hold on. Just to hit on what you said. I don't know if she needs to learn how to use her powers. Maybe to like travel the multiverse, probably. But she's powerful as fuck already, and she knows how to use them. Like she nearly killed Thanos. But anyway.
Well, I'm pretty sure I read somewhere. I could be wrong on this. Maybe it's not. Like a whole bunch of misinformation has come out from a lot of things to do at Comic-Con. But it's like they're trying to retcon her character somehow. But I don't. Yeah, take that with a grain of salt.
So director Scott Derrickson said that this will be the first scary Marvel film, which means that they're going for more of a horror vibe, and the rumored villain is Nightmare.
Oh, I missed that part. Yeah. That's cool. One of the funniest moments of the panel was when he announced it's their first horror film, which is like, you have to recognize Marvel in the last 5 years or so have been trying to like blend their superhero genre with other genres. They've been doing comedies, they've been doing spy thrillers, they've been doing space operas, everything. So this is their first one in the horror. I wonder if Blade will get into that. But like one of the funniest moments was once he said horror and everyone reacted, this one guy in the crowd yells out, "Is it R?" And then Kevin Feige, without a moment's hesitation, like is waiting for it, just goes, "It's PG-13 and you'll like it." Which is like, that's Marvel. They're never not going to be PG-13 with their movies, no matter what these rumors about Venom or Netflix. I'm curious to see
what they do with Blade, though. I'm very curious.
Yeah, that would be the test, right? But you could do horror that's PG-13. It just means you're not going to get the gore and the fucks. You can do it. It's just a lot of people don't do it well. But if someone's going to do it well, Marvel's going to do it well because they fucking nail everything they touch. I think it's really interesting because you can do some really interesting things with horror and sorcery that we haven't really seen before. Like the whole idea of like traveling, something that no one ever touches on in sci-fi is like when you're traveling to other dimensions and universes, that should be fucking scary. You don't know what the fuck you're going to see. You don't know what you're going to trust or whatever. So like, I'm actually keen for that. And also, for those who aren't aware, Doctor Strange, like the comics, while it did take a lot of influence from psychedelic stuff, it also took a lot of elements from gothic stuff as well. So to see them dive into that, that's really exciting. And we're going to get something different and new. And, that's exciting, man. Plus, you're going to give him Elizabeth Olsen to play off. This movie, I can just see it now. It's going to be fucking awesome, dude. And with what they did with that character in Infinity War and Endgame, where just giving him all these cool new powers and he's mastered his stuff, I can't fucking wait. This movie's going to be epic.
Yeah, I think it'll be awesome. I mean, especially because like they've broken away from the chains of what made the first one not very spectacular, and that's like the origin stuff. Like they're done with that. Like they're able to move on to what Doctor Strange is all about, really.
Yeah, there's so much potential with this, and Benedict Cumberbatch, he'll crush it, dude. Like, yep. It's always great to see Marvel doing something different with their stuff. So yeah, moving on is another TV series, and it's the first animated series in the MCU. Now that would turn off most people, but then they revealed that pretty much almost every major actor from Marvel will be reprising their roles. And that's fucking cool. And the whole thing is based off like the What If series, where it's like they will take moments from previous movies and go, well, what if this happened instead? it's a cool concept. It's going to be packed with fan fiction. And we got an interesting casting announcement, didn't we?
Yeah, so Jeffrey Wright will be voicing the Watcher. Jeffrey Wright, if you don't know him, he's from Westworld. He is also from the latest Bond films. Like he's an awesome actor, dude. I love Jeffrey Wright. He's definitely got an awesome voice.
Oh yeah, and if Stan Lee was still around, I would have loved Stan Lee to do the Watcher just for like cameo reasons and stuff. But you need a cool voice, really, and who else to do it but someone with a voice that cool. I'd just like to mention something of personal value to me. The first comic book I ever purchased with my own hard-earned pocket money as a kid was a What If comic.
Oh, nice.
It was an Avengers What If comic, and it was based off of one where it's like, what if the Carnage symbiote took over the Silver Surfer and the Avengers showed up? And that was really cool. And I've always said to myself, like, I love that tattooed on me. And then one day I went to a tattoo artist and I was like, can you tattoo this on me? He goes, dude, it's way too complicated. It looks shit. And I was like, thank you. I was dreaming of that day for like 15 years, but that's cool, bro. I'll just get Spider-Man or something.
That's awesome. So that's coming out summer 2021.
Yeah, dude, 2021 is going to be a great time to be a nerd.
Right? Because we have something else in 2021, another TV show.
Another TV show, another one based on Avenger, Hawkeye. We got Jeremy Renner coming back. And then we will also introduce Kate Bishop. And the show will be more about him training her to be also Hawkeye. And I know this logo looks weird, but what...
Matt Fraction.
Sorry?
It's apparently it's based off the Matt Fraction comics.
Yeah, yeah. It's literally like they copy paste off the comic book, which is actually really well received. I've actually heard this a lot. It's like, well, Hawkeye was always given the short stick, not just in the movies, but in the comics as a part of a group. Like his run as a solo was actually like a real it was a silent achiever. Apparently, it was really good. So, keen to see what they do with this. And Jeremy Renner must be stoked because he's finally going to get some meat to dig his teeth into. That dude's such an incredible actor, and Hawkeye's never really gotten the shine that I think he wanted him to have. So hopefully this just makes everybody happy and goes a long way.
I think that's a bit of I don't know, like I definitely in the first Avengers, but every film that he's appeared in after that, he kind of has. Like he's had some pretty fucking awesome moments, dude.
Well, Endgame for sure. Like Endgame was
Ultron.
Definitely the most yet to do. Yeah, Ultron he had some moments, I guess. But to me, in Ultron, it just felt like they were trying really hard to make. I just feel it. Like the part when she tries to mind control him, he's like, "Not this time."
No. I'm talking about like they gave him like that's the introduction of the family of the homestead, but then also like he gives Elizabeth Olsen's character Scarlet Witch the speech at the end. That fucking awesome speech.
Yeah,
like he gets a lot to do in Age of Ultron.
Okay, good point. Also, something I just realized right this second, he's the only Marvel hero, I think, with a family. Is that right? Unless you count Spider-Man because he's got an aunt, but...
I mean, Thor, but pretty much all dead.
Yeah, well, like a normal human family, I guess. But yeah, I wonder if that's going to play into it. That could be interesting. But the next one is probably the biggest announcement. Oh man, this is huge. Thor: Love and Thunder with a logo looking like it's straight out of like Iron Maiden or something.
It looks like Masters of the Universe.
Oh yeah, it looks like He-Man, right? So exactly. Much, you're right. Yeah. Which is incredible. And then they announced that Natalie Portman will return in it. She will play female Thor, which Taika Waititi corrected on Twitter. They're going to call her Mighty Thor. So she'll get the hammer. She will be a superhero. Also directing, thank fuck, Taika Waititi. That's how good this man is. He got Natalie Portman to come back to Thor when she really had a bad experience with this franchise. This movie's gonna be fucking awesome, all right?
I cannot wait. I'm so stoked for this movie. Probably the most excited out of all of these, the 11 that were announced. This is probably the one that I'm most excited for. But that's only because like I've seen what Taika Waititi can do with the Thor property before. So, Yeah, man, I am super fucking stoked for this. Really, really excited to see where they take this, considering where Thor's arc ended in Endgame. So yeah, I'm genuinely excited to see like what they do.
Yeah, so there's a lot to talk about this. So the first thing that we should acknowledge is that Thor is now the first Marvel character to get a fourth film. He's extended his contract. I think for a while, like around The Dark World and Age of Ultron, like Chris Hemsworth might have been getting sick of the character, but Taika Waititi and the work they did on the last two Avengers films, they really reinvented this character. They made it work to Chris Hemsworth's strengths, which is comedy. That dude loves doing comedy. He jumps into as many comedies as he can now, even in small parts.
Yeah, we've talked about it.
Yeah, so they've really found a great voice for this, and they made it work still within the context of Marvel. Like Ragnarok, even if you take out all the jokes, it's still a good story. Like Taika Waititi can write a fucking great script. I know he's probably had some help and stuff, but yeah, like that's awesome. And what I wonder now is like with Jane Foster coming in the mix as Mighty Thor, is this going to be like a passing of the torch or a passing of the hammer? Like, will this be Chris Hemsworth's last Thor film? Like, he'll probably still be in Guardians 3, but like...
I feel that, yeah. I feel like that's kind of like a central theme of Phase 4. Like, it's kind of like a passing of the torch, like a transitional stage. I mean, like, look at Hawkeye. Like, you know, you got Kate Bishop, and then you've got Doctor Strange with, like, Elizabeth Olsen. Like, I know there's no, like, passing of the torch, but it's also, like, it's a lot of team-up stuff, you know?
Well, you also just got Anthony Mackie picking up the Captain America shield.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And this actually raises a good point. So, excuse me. So the Marvel comics of recent years have kind of been testing grounds for what to do with the films. And in the last maybe while, Marvel did cop a little bit of flack for this, but they seem to really like it, is that they're really trying to go more in diverse routes. They had this thing called the all new, all different Avengers, something like that. And the whole lineup was different. You had a black Captain America. You had a black Spider-Man with Miles Morales. You had female Thor, which is Jane Foster. There was Totally Awesome Hulk, who was different to Incredible Hulk, who's, I forget his name, but he's this Asian bloke. And then, there was another character. But now, like, if you're right with the passing of the torch thing with the Hawkeye show, like, maybe that's what they're trying to move into, like a new Avengers thing where you've got a new Captain America, new that. Oh, there's also Ironheart, which was, like this young girl who was like Iron Man. I don't think they're going to do that with all the characters in Marvel, but maybe they're setting that up so they can continue on the Thor franchise with a different actor or the Captain America franchise with a different actor. Maybe they don't do that at all, but they're definitely laying seeds for what could be that, you know, while also introducing all these brand new superheroes such as, you know, Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Shang-Chi, all that. Regardless of all that shit, we've got a fucking awesome movie. Also, it should be mentioned, Tessa Thompson's also returning as Valkyrie, and they were, I don't know if they were actually saying this, it might have been subliminal, but I think she's going to be the first gay superhero.
It wasn't subliminal, dude.
She mentioned herself as a king and needed a queen, so I guess that's what that means.
Yeah, it's not super subliminal. Like it'll happen.
I just didn't want to do wrong, I guess. But yeah, like I guess good for them going with all this route and all that stuff. But this movie's gonna be fucking perfect, right? It has to be.
Yeah,
it's Ragnarok too.
I'm excited.
Do you have anything else to say about Thor: Love and Thunder?
No, just fucking give it to me now, really.
Yeah. Well, I wish they called it Love and Thor, like Love and War, but I'll let it slide. The final big I wouldn't call it big announcement, but where they actually brought out people to talk about it was the next film we're getting early next year, in May, which is the Black Widow film. Who's in this film? What's it about? What are you looking at?
Well,
Zoe?
this was the announcement. Like, we knew that this was in filming, but this was the first time they've actually come out and said, "Hey,
shit, you're right. Yeah,
this is the announcement. We're doing a Black Widow film." So, so Black Widow currently filming in Europe. They took a break. They literally flew over while they were mid filming. The actors and actresses were like, you know, fucking exhausted. But yeah, basically, you know, you've got Scarlett coming back as Black Widow, as Natasha Romanoff, one of the Black Widows, by the way, confirmed today. She's going to be joined by Rachel Weisz, who plays Melina, who plays another Black Widow. Florence Pugh as Yelena, who will be playing another Black Widow. So there are multiple Black Widows in this, by the way. And David Harbour, fucking from Stranger Things, my boy Jim Hopper, playing Alexei, which is kind of funny because Alexei from Stranger Things, aka the Red Guardian, which is kind of like from what I read, it's kind of like Russia's answer to Captain America.
Does that mean he's a bad guy, do you think?
I have no idea, but there've been, and look, I don't like this, but I came across a set photo and it was Black Widow fighting Taskmaster.
Yes.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And
also featured in the new Avengers game.
Right. And no one knows who is playing him. So maybe, I don't know, like no one's been announced for to be playing Taskmaster, but
go on.
One of the most awesome things about this is that it's directed by Kate Shortland, who is Australian and who has a full-blown Australian accent. And it's just so cool to see someone from Australia directing a massive movie like this. So,
look, if I know anything about Marvel origin films, or the first film, is that the enemy is almost a copy-paste of the hero. So it's probably going to be one of those Black Widows under there, I guess. But that would be heavily changing.
I'm assuming it'll be Yelena, Florence Pugh's character. But
either way, both Taskmaster and Natasha Romanoff are former S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. So there's going to be a parallel regardless.
This is also confirmed to be taking place after Civil War, like right after Civil War.
Yeah, so it's a prequel in the timeline, but it's still a sequel to Civil War.
Right.
But it's not post-Endgame. This Black Widow is still dead within continuity.
Right. And also, according to... Because they did show footage, I wrote a bit of a description, so...
Ooh, I didn't do this. Lay it on me. I'm excited.
So, more than anything... it's not really a spoiler, and I will not spoil any of this for you guys. More than anything, the biggest takeaway from the footage description is that it's most it's very much like The Winter Soldier. Like, the music is like The Winter Soldier. The way the action is filmed is like The Winter Soldier. There is a fight that breaks out between Yelena and Natasha that is fucking brutal. Like, some of the fights in this are absolutely brutal. But, there's also, this massive fight that ends on a bridge. And there's a motorcycle chase as well. Apparently, this shit is legit.
That sounds amazing. That's what you want from Black Widow film, right?
Oh, fuck yeah.
May
1st, 2020.
Oh, go on. Yeah. So this is the first film where you don't know if they'll do a trilogy. Usually they do, but are they going to do a trilogy of sequels? Of prequels that are in between films? What are they going to do? This is the first time it's I don't have an easy assumption.
Could be a passing of the torch thing because Rachel Weisz's character is rumored to be kind of taking over.
But if that's the case, then where was she during Infinity War and Endgame? But I guess that's what they have to answer, right?
Right.
Yeah, man.
I'm not the fucking writer, Matthew.
It's good. Yeah. Well, look, the biggest question when you hear about a film like this, and it's they killed the character, they go back in the timeline. It's what does this film bring to the larger MCU? And every time they introduce a new franchise, there also is something. And if it's a new character, then a new Black Widow, that would be that answer, right?
Right.
Yeah. They started to wrap up. They took a big selfie. They had people come out on stage. I should also mention at the beginning, they brought on, I think 10 other people from behind the scenes that never get recognition. They've worked on, every single Marvel film, which was kind of cool. And then they brought out, oh my God. I'll let you do the honors. Who'd they bring out?
Yeah, so essentially, Kevin, they're all taking photos and shit, and Kevin Feige says, look, someone's missing, and he's like, ladies and gentlemen, Mahershala Ali, and fucking Mahershala Ali walks up onto the stage, and everyone's like, wait, what, is Cottonmouth back? What?
Yeah, right? This guy's got so many Oscars and shit.
Right.
What's he doing here?
At this point, all of the cast and crew are wearing hats of their respective movies that they're in. And Kevin Feige says to Mahershala Ali, Mahershala, what hat are you wearing today? Mahershala turns to the crowd, puts on his hat, and on the hat is Blade.
Ooh.
Wow, what an announcement, dude. This was just such a... I mean, like, it was rumored, but, like, it was still, like, there's no fucking way. Like, you know what I mean?
I actually didn't hear that rumor.
I did.
Mr. Rumor guy over here. The guy's always talking about fucking rumors. I totally missed that one.
I did hear about the rumor, but I kind of, like, you know, filed it away in terms of, like, putting it with the X-Men and Fantastic Four, just being like, nah, it's never going to fucking happen.
It doesn't sound believable. Like,
no.
He doesn't... Sure, he does. He has worked with Marvel before. He's done Cottonmouth. He was also the Prowler.
Just that there was going to be a Blade movie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Mahershala was totally, like, out of left field. Like, it was just like, whoa, what the fuck?
Well, you'd think if they did one, it would start maybe Wesley Snipes, because Wesley Snipes has publicly campaigned for them to do another Blade movie and have him in the lead role.
Yeah, but Wesley Snipes is also a convicted felon.
Exactly. Marvel would never work with him. Disney would never work with him.
Well,
unless maybe he's like a cameo or something, but not in the spotlight.
Right, exactly. But anyway, so, man, you know how much I love Mahershala Ali.
He's the best.
He's fucking awesome, dude. And what a great choice to play Blade. But also, like, an immediate downer the next day. It was just like, Kevin Feige's like, yeah, Blade will not be in Phase 4.
It's good to know that they've started. Like, it means they've cast someone. They've made an announcement. It's going to happen. Like, with X-Men, that could be another 10 years for all we know, because they haven't made any announcements. They haven't even announced they're going to do
they've said it's in production
properly.
They've said it's in production. Like, immediately after the Blade announcement, they said, we haven't even had the chance to talk about X-Men. We haven't had the chance to talk about Fantastic Four.
I've got it here. They said, kind of, and people have been saying online that this is like them announcing Phase 5. I don't think that's the case. But yeah, it's Black Panther 2, Captain Marvel 2, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Fantastic Four. Then I think he said either mutant or mutants. He didn't say X-Men.
He said mutant. I mean, like,
but he probably means X-Men, or maybe he means New Mutants.
No,
or something. He probably means X-Men, right?
He's talking about X-Men. Like, everyone's waiting for an X-Men announcement. Like, you know, he's talking about X-Men. And what are you talking about, New Mutants? Like, come on.
Yeah, but like, why didn't he just say X-Men? Like,
they're just not ready.
Maybe he was just excited. Who knows?
Yeah, they're not ready.
But yeah, and that's all those films already just sound exciting. He could have just said that with no logos, no announcements, and we'd still be talking about it for half hour. Because, goddamn, Marvel.
Speaking of half hour, dude, I'm tapped out.
Yeah, man. So overall, what did you think of San Diego Comic-Con?
Man, this year was big. Like, last year's was just like a wet fart because you know, Marvel weren't there. But like, not only that, like, this year we got a lot of trailers for like some really exciting shit. It just felt like this year was just one of the best Comic-Cons I've ever seen in a very long time. Like, I think probably one of the best years was like, it was like Marvel going up against DC. I can't remember which year that was, but it was like fucking awesome. I
reckon you're talking about the time when they announced Batman, or they were releasing stuff about Batman v Superman Civil War around the same time.
I think so too. I think
probably then,
yeah. But like, this year was like just wow. It was like, we didn't even mention the fact that, like, while the Marvel panel is on, this 1 hour panel, Avengers Endgame ends up being the highest grossing movie of all time, overtaking Avatar. Like, at that same moment.
And it's so crazy to think that, like,
literally
James Cameron was like, he had a video sort of on that same stage around, like, on the same day as all this Avengers stuff too. Like, that's just so cool, man.
Yeah.
Shouts to everybody, man. Like, they're doing great.
All right, yeah.
I'm just looking out that photo of that they took, and I forgot to mention, like, there's a girl from the Eternals who I'm pretty sure is like 8 years old, in one of the main roles. That movie's gonna be fucking weird, dude. Let's wrap this up. We mentioned it before, but if you want to hang out with Midnight Double Feature, these are the places where you can find us: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Holler at us. We want to talk to you. Find us on our Facebook community group, and we can talk all this shit, which is the After Party Midnight Double Feature. Please rate and review us on iTunes. I want that 5-star shit. Fuck you if you're going to give me 4 stars. I'm kidding. We appreciate your feedback.
He's not kidding,
5 stars are really good for the rating, so you know. And then, you know, also you can find us wherever podcasts are. And we have so much love for you guys. The next feature presentation coming out will be Kingsman, I believe. Is that right?
Correct. Kingsman, the Secret Service. Really keen for that one.
Really should be a great episode. And stay tuned. Lots of great things coming from Midnight Double Feature. And we love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Until next time, laters.